Shalom Yasharallah, giving all praise and glory to the Most High Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. As always, I'm going to start with Colossians 3:17, and whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. So, I've been going over different things. It just hit me that this is Black History Month, as they call it. Shortest month of the year, but they call it Black History Month, right? And so I gave you some history and some things to look at compared to what they're going to show you. And I got something special to present to you today to start this lesson out. It's called the New Willie Lynch Letter. The New Willie Lynch Letter. Written by his great-grandson, Willie Lynch III. Not that many people that even know that this exists. And if you heard it before, you forgot about it. Generally, after so long, we forget about things. So you got to be reminded. That's why the Most High speak once, yea, twice, man perceive it not. So he say the same thing over and over again to us. We got a bunch of cases of ADHD, when it come down to reading and understanding and taking our time to really just develop a relationship with the Most High. I ain't talking about what you do and calling on your God, whatever it is, whoever it is. Now I'm talking about studying him from the Bible to recognize him, what works and what didn't work with us as a nation. And he must be exalted. Well, I say hallelujah to the Most High, because he haven't been exalted. But he's going to get a name that's going to be above every name. And he's going to be all in all, forever and ever and ever, now and forever, for those that understand. So this is what he said. It says, submitted via the internet, original origin unknown, reprinted here for its significance of today's times. The original Willie Lynch speech on slave control was delivered by his father, Willie Lynch, on the bank of James River in Virginia in 1712. Lynch was a British slave owner in the West Indies. He was invited to the colony of Virginia in 1712 to teach his methods to slave owners there. The term lynching is derived from his last name, thus Willie Lynch. Remnants of Willie's methods are still in use today. He said he have a foolproof method that might last 400 years or forever, and it's until this day, if you understand and read the Willie Lynch letter. But this is the new Willie Lynch letter, written by his great-grandson, Willie Lynch III, okay? The title is How to Make an Economic or Ghetto Slave, a lesson for the new millennium, by Willie Lynch III. Building on my great-great-grandfather's work, we can see how we can continue to reap profits from the blacks without the effort of physical slavery. We will focus on the current methods of containment that they use on themselves. Number 1, ignorance. Number 2, greed. Number 3, selfishness. The ignorance of blacks is the primary weapon of containment. That's why Hosea 4:6 says what? My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. A great man once said, the best way to hide something from a black is to put it in a book. This statement is so true. We currently live in an information age where blacks have gained the opportunity to read any book on any subject through the efforts of their fight for freedom and integration, yet they refuse to read. There are numerous books readily available at Borders, Barnes& and Noble, and Amazon.com that would help them reach economic equality, what should have been their fight all along. However, very few of them read consistently, if at all. As long as we continue to publish books for our benefit and keep books, computers, and the internet out of their hands, we will never see the masses of them rise above the slums and projects. My great-grandfather said, for example, you take the slave. If you teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets. And he is then no more a slave. But you can't fool him any longer. And having a fool is one of the basic ingredients of the incidents to the making of the slavery system. The masses of them are fools because they don't read. They will never figure out that we have all the information a person needs to succeed in America in the books, magazines, and newspapers we read all the time. Greed is another powerful weapon of containment. Blacks, since the abolishment of slavery, have had large amounts of money at their disposal. Last year, they spent $9 billion during Christmas and represent about $450 billion in purchasing power. Now it's up to $1 trillion, over $1 trillion. That will easily, because this is from 2001, 20 years ago, 21 years ago. It says last year they spent $9 billion during Christmas and represent about $450 billion in purchasing power. That will easily allow any of us to use them as our target market for any business venture. Being primarily a consumer people, they function totally by greed. They continually want more without any regard for saving or investing. They would rather buy some new sneakers than invest in starting a business or community development organization. Some will even neglect their children to have the latest Tommy Hilfiger or FUBU. They still think that having a Mercedes and a big house in the middle of the ghetto gives them some status, or that they have achieved their American dream. They are fools. The vast majority of their people are still in poverty, living in slums, projects, and rundown homes. What have they achieved? Their greed holds them back from making better communities for themselves. With the help of BET and the rest of their black media, we will continue to see huge profits like those of Tommy and Nike. They will continue to congregate in their boopy communities and slums, trying to show off to each other while we build solid communities with the profits from our businesses. Some would argue that this last method is the most powerful one of the three. Selfishness, ingrained in their minds through slavery, is one of the major ways we can contain them in a slave status. We all know that any group united under one vision can accomplish anything. The Bible shows that even God acknowledged in the Tower of Babel story that a people united can accomplish anything. With this said, we understand that the most effective way to keep them contained is to create divisions among blacks as a people. one of their own, Du Bois, said that there was an innate division in their culture. A talented tenth, he called it. He was correct in his deduction that there are segments of their culture that has achieved some form of success. However, that segment missed the fullness of his work. They don't read. That talented tenth was then responsible to aid the non-talented 90% in achieving a better life. Instead, that segment that created another class, a boopy class, that looks down on their people or aids them in a condescending manner through various community and fraternal organizations. The selfishness of the boopy class and the "it's all about me" attitude that is prevalent throughout their people has caused them to isolate both classes and cause them as a whole to achieve nothing great for themselves in the form of solid communities, businesses, or economic empowerment. They will never achieve what we have. Their selfishness does not allow them to be able to work together on any project or endeavor of substance. Or when they do get together, their selfishness lets egos get in the way of the goal. The so-called help organizations with large budgets and some existing for almost 100 or more years seem to only want to promote their name without making any real change to the communities in which they live. There are constant to sit in conferences and conventions and talk about what they will do and award the best speakers a plaque. Is there no end to their selfishness? I doubt it. They lack essential information for combating selfishness, and that is that together each achieves more. They do not understand that they are no better than each other because of what they own. Most of those boopies are 1 or 2 paychecks away from poverty. All of which is under the control of our pens in our offices and boardrooms. Yes, we will continue to contain them as long as we keep them from reading. Let them buy anything they want and keep them thinking that they are really helping their communities by paying dues to some non-functional organization. By the way, don't worry about any of them reading this letter. Remember, they don't read. The last statement that someone wrote that published this, it said, when we feel the stress of the storm, we learn the strength of the anchor. So yeah, that's the new Willie Lynch letter, written by his great-grandson, Willie Lynch III, about that. So you want to keep something from us, you just put it in the book. You heard that saying. And I'm going to continue on this.